We each got a brown paper bag. You put your name on it, placed it in the front of the room, and throughout the day your classmates would drop candy and notes in the bag. In middle school, Valentine's Day was different from any other holiday. On Halloween, you still got candy, but it wasn't specifically for you. Valentine's Day was a way for me to know how people truly felt about me. If I got candy from someone, that meant they wanted me to have the candy. But not all candies are created equal. Sweethearts, for instance, are the peeps of Valentine's Day, just terrible. If you got sweethearts, you knew that person didn't like you, probably weren't in the same friend group, definitely not messaging you on AIM. These crusty, dry, not even worth the cavity looking candies came with corny, generic phrases like "be mine" and "I hurt you." The term cutie pie is so lame, I don't even think my grandma would use it. What you wanted were M&Ms, Fun Dip, Skittles, actual flavor. Often they would have a personalized note on the back. Better yet, if your crush took the time to make you a handmade card, you knew what was up. They didn't just like you, they liked you. I've since experienced many different Valentine's Days. The days of the brown paper bag a distant memory, but sweethearts and handmade cards, candy-coated half-thoughts and heartfelt affirmations remain the currency that we exchange even into adulthood. For many couples, Valentine's Day is an anxiety-laden pass-fail test. This because Valentine's Day posits the question, what do you love about me? But I can't just tell my wife that I love her brown eyes and that she is kind. For one, anyone can observe that. The compliment does a poor job pinpointing who my wife truly is. And two, by pointing out only the best parts of my wife, I risk placing conditions on my love for her, which reinforces the idea that she needs to perform in order to earn my love. This School of Life video puts it best.
To add further complexity to our demands, it isn't enough just to be admired. We also want a true lover to feel well disposed towards our vulnerabilities. Whatever our degree of competence, we are never far from moments of fear, ignorance, humiliation, childlikeness, and sadness. And it is these moods, too, that we long for a lover to have the strength to feel generous towards.
In the movie Encanto, we are introduced to Mirabel, who is
I'm only part of the amazing Madrigals.
Now, most members of the Madrigal family have superpowered gifts. Mirabel, the story's protagonist, introduces us to her siblings.
My older sisters, Isabella and Luisa. One strong, one graceful, perfect in every way. Isabella. Grows a flower, the town goes wild. Isabella. She's a perfect golden child. Luisa. And Luisa's super strong, the beauty and the blonde, do no wrong.
While Luisa's gift is a part of who she is, it should not ever become all that she is. And yet, she has been reduced to nothing more than her strength.
Under the surface, I'm pretty sure I'm worthless if I can be of service.
Luisa's identity is tied up in what she can do. If she's not strong, what is there to love?
Who am I if I don't have what it takes? No cracks, no breaks, no mistakes, no pressure.
For Luisa, behind her performance lie more vulnerable and authentic emotion. And while there are cracks under the surface, these imperfections more closely resemble who she is. No better off is Isabella.
I grow rose and rows of roses, fleur de mayo, by the mile. I make perfect practiced poses, so much hides behind my smile.
Though Isabella presents an outward beauty, her true beauty hides behind these projections, behind her smile. The Madrigal family is quite divided, as represented by the literal cracks that develop in the Encanto house. But Mirabel meets her siblings in their incompetence and holds their more vulnerable emotions. By helping to piece together her sisters' lives, Mirabel is able to piece together Bruno's vision and the entire family. In this way, while Mirabel does not have a superpowered gift, she does have a supernatural one that resembles the heart of God.
This idea, the idea of embracing our wounds, our brokenness, is manifested quite poetically in the Japanese mending practice of kintsugi, literally meaning golden joinery.
In Zen aesthetics, the broken pieces of an accidentally smashed pot should be carefully picked up, reassembled, and then glued together with lacquer inflected with the most expensive gold powder. There should be no attempt to disguise the damage. The point is to render the fault lines beautiful and strong.
It's a good idea to bring up the creation story here. In Genesis 1, God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them, right? God lovingly molded humanity. And like an artist proud of their work, he took a step back and said that we weren't just good, but that we were very good. Genesis 2 provides even deeper insight.
So the Lord God formed man. It's the image of a potter working with a lump of clay. He formed man from the dust of the ground, and he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, the ruach, and man became a living creature.
As living creatures, we were made whole and had shalom. But the serpent brought humanity to the edge of themselves and, like a mischievous child pushing a pot off a ledge, shattered what was once whole. This idea, the idea of shattered shalom, now mars the way we relate to ourselves, the way we relate to the world, the way we relate to God himself, and the way that we relate to others. But the beauty of the gospel comes in the promise of restoration.
The fractures on a ceramic bowl don't represent the end of that object's life, but rather an essential moment in its history. The flaws of its shape aren't hidden from inspection, but emblazoned with golden significance.
And so, while we hope in restoration, the painful truth is that we desperately need restoration.
Though we may keep a little quiet about this, especially when young, we tend deep down to be rather hopeful that we will eventually manage to find perfection in a number of areas. We dream of one day securing an ideally harmonious relationship, deeply fulfilling work, a happy family life, and the respect of others. But life has a habit of dealing us a range of blows and leaving nothing much of this array of fine dreams, save some shattered and worthless fragments.
In the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, would-be villain Zuko has a particularly fragmented life. The decision to no longer let this dictate his anger leads Zuko to a place of vulnerability.
Zuko!
As Zuko seeks to reconcile with the story's protagonists and complete his redemption arc, he exposes himself to rejection. His momentary pauses and soft stuttering alludes to a frail hopefulness.
Anyway, what I wanted to tell you about is that I've changed. And I'm good now. And, I think I should join your group. Oh, and I can teach firebending to you.
Zuko's story shows that when our lives fracture, they clang with an obnoxious reminder of how fragile we are. Fear can take us to our jagged places and can convince us to weaponize our pain. However, Jesus meets these same fragments with tenderness.
Thank you, Katara.
We see evidences of Jesus' tender love all throughout the Bible. For instance, Peter denies Jesus 3 times and Jesus forgives him. But the way Jesus forgives Peter is worth a second look. The next time Jesus sees Peter, he asks Peter if he loves him 3 times. Blink and you'll miss it. This is Jesus subtly acknowledging that he knows Peter's love is flawed and that his love will meet Peter in this incompetence. In Genesis 16, Hagar has been mistreated by Abram and Sarai. She runs to the desert, most likely to die. It's here that God meets her and asks, "Where are you coming from, and where are you going?" God is omnipotent. He doesn't need to ask if Peter loves him. He already knows that. He doesn't need to ask where Hagar is coming or where she is going, because he already knows that. The function of these questions, where are you coming from and where are you going, is to show that God cares about Hagar's traumatic past and that he has a plan for her future. Though I am older and am learning more about God with each passing season, I knew what love was back in middle school. In my brown paper bag, I didn't want a factory-etched candy telling me that I had puppy love. I wanted to know what my crush genuinely thought of me and if she genuinely loved me. I also didn't care to dress my paper bag with bombastic colors or pompous stickers. All that was extraneous. Hagar, Peter, Zuko, Isabella, and Louisa, they are no different. They all demonstrate that in our depravity, human beings require authentic and tender love. Therein, as we long for a right relationship with self, others, nature, and with God, it's important to come to terms with who we are, broken parts and all.